I'm back. Sorry. Of course they called me back. Like right when we were starting to talk, they called me back. I'm back though, and it's handled, which I'm happy about. So my DMV situation was that they like made a mistake with something, and I can't like go into the DMV to fucking fix it. So, but it's handled now. So I'm back. I'm back now. So since the DMV called me and it like ended like that, it didn't save. So we'll just start again. We're back, so I'll just like wait a couple minutes and then we'll just jump right in. But yes, I'm glad that got handled. The feds was trying to stop us. No, that was the DMV calling me back because I was on hold for 2 hours before I started. So yeah, I was just saying that I found this whole no name thing to be really weird. I feel like no, J. Cole should not tone police. No Name is also an elitist, though. And I was saying that 6 months ago, she was like ripping her fans to shreds for not supporting her. And a lot of her black fans were really offended. And they were like, you know, we can't, like, your music is not accessible. Right, they made me wait 2 hours for a call that took less than 10 minutes. Right, exactly. But a lot of her fans were like, you know, your stuff is not accessible. Like, your music's not accessible. The venues that you're in are not accessible. There's a reason why the majority of your fan base is white. Yeah, this is when the girls were quitting. This was also a conversation that we were having around Normani at this time, because a lot of people were talking about, like, what is the demographic of Normani? Like, what is her team trying to go for? A lot of people were also saying that about No Name. You know, it's like you're touring European festivals and then you're like ripping your black fan base to shreds and you're like talking all this shit about black people. Like, you don't like us, you know? Like, it was like a really weird thing. So we had a whole conversation about like the girls are quitting and, you know, what's up with that. And so if you guys like, that's literally what the old video was called, like the girls are quitting. So I find it really interesting that No Name has kind of like become the people's champ after that. Like, that was never addressed. She never addressed it. She never addressed her black fans for it. She never apologized for it. A lot of people were really, their feelings were hurt. They were really offended because it seemed like she dislikes her black fans and it seems like she dislikes black people. And it seems like she's an elitist and like a snob looking down her nose on niggas. And she went on this like whole rant about like black people being poor and like, you know, them not opening their purse to support her and all this stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see her be like, black people, poor black people are putting their bodies on the front lines. And like all this stuff, it is just like, it seems like a lot. It seems like quite an about face from, you know, a few months ago. And I think that, this is what I think is like really interesting. I think number one, it's really interesting that I think that it's a really good conversation to have about tone policing and especially about men tone policing women. I think that's a great conversation. I think that that's a conversation that needs to be had more regularly. I kind of feel like it's interesting that like this is the example, like this is the scenario that people have decided to pick to like have that conversation. I kind of low-key feel like J. Cole is catching strays for a conversation that people want to have about the way that black men talk to black women. I don't think that J. Cole came at No Name like out of pocket. I think No Name subtweeted like a bunch of people and J. Cole could have been included. So he addressed it on wax like he always does. I feel like it's really weird that people feel some type of way about him addressing it on wax and coming out with a song. It's like that's what J. Cole does. Like, he came out with a song about Lil Pump. He's come out with songs about Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Wale. You know, that's how J. Cole addresses things. It seems like he doesn't get back and forth into like social media. I don't know. I also find it really interesting to see people saying like, well, J. Cole could have like called her or DM'd her. It's like No Name also could have called or DM'd whoever she was referring to in those tweets, but she didn't. She chose to make it public and take it to Twitter and subtweet people. It's kind of like you threw it out there and somebody responded, you know? So, and now we're kind of having this conversation. I do, again, like, I think it's a really good conversation to be had about, again, like tone policing and like, yeah, mansplaining. I saw somebody say mansplaining. And overall, yeah, conversations like the way that Black men talk to Black women. But I think J. Cole had a point about No Name being elitist and talking down to people, and it seeming like she dislikes the Black people that she's claiming to fight for. No Name kind of gives me like a talented 10th, like a W.E.B. Du Bois type of vibe of like, I'm smart and I'm smarter than everyone and I know everything, and so I'm gonna like, you know, lift the niggas out of the ghetto and take them to the promised land whether they like it or not. And you know, I put on Discord and I put on Instagram, and it's like, you know, and I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart because you niggas couldn't even support me, and that's why I had to quit music. You know, it's condescending. Like, she condescends to people. She condescends to people, and she condescends to people regularly, and she condescends to Black people specifically, because when she threw her temper tantrum 6 months ago, she made it about Black people. Like, she made it about Black people. It wasn't like, you know, oh, let me go to my manager. And I feel like I'm having deja vu because this is like literally what we were talking about in the video on The Girls Are Quitting. It wasn't like, let me go to my manager and figure out how can we make my work more accessible for the Black fans and the Black audience that I'm trying to reach. How do we get my work out of this white European festival circuit? Because I feel uncomfortable seeing all, you know, white faces at my shows. How do we work with my Black fans? Instead, it was like, my Black fans this, my Black fans that, my Black fans, they don't want to support me. They don't want to do this. Like, she attacked. Like, she really attacked. We're literally talking about a video that I made 6 months ago. Like, what? Where's this coming from? Did you feel this way before Cole said something? We're talking about what I said about No Name 6 months ago in a video called The Girls Are All Quitting. So we're talking about something I said about No Name way before J. Cole said anything. Like, people have already been having conversations. Like I said, Normani, No Name, Ari Lennox, and Summer Walker, we were talking about them 4 girls because all those girls said they were quitting, and a lot of the reasons that were put out there revolved around interaction with Black fans specifically. And a lot of people felt some type of way about No Name specifically, out of all those girls I just named. Super chat, thank you. Out of all those girls I just named, a lot of people felt some type of way about No Name, and a lot of people felt some type of way about Normani, because people felt like, we are supporting you. Like, we want you to win. Like, why are you yelling at us? Like, why are you talking bad on us? Like, we want you to win. Like, you know, and it seemed like you don't like your Black fans. Like, why are you talking to your Black fans like this? And I feel like No Name has that same exact energy with like her, whatever she's doing now as well. I guess you could call it like her revolutionary work. And a lot of people just feel like, why are you talking down to people? And like, who is it for? Who is it for? Like, who is it for? If your music primarily meets, you know, gets to a white audience because it's not accessible to Black people, why are you getting mad at Black people? Let's talk about access and how is your art accessible? And I feel like it's the same. No, Normani didn't say she was quitting. Normani has said some stuff about her Black fans. And her, I think her choreographer did too. They were like talking really greasy about Normani's fans, her Black fans. And they made it racial, like Black fans specifically. And No Name did the same thing. They made it racial. Like, they had an issue with their Black fans. And people were like, what the hell? Like, we trying to support you, but we can't. Like, you're not coming to us. You're not making your stuff accessible. And then we started having a whole conversation, and I posted this again on Instagram today. We started having a whole conversation around like art and accessibility, which I have a video on. It's literally called on art and accessibility, on art and accessibility. It's in the on playlist, because we've also had this conversation about Kanye West. We've had this conversation around a lot of Black artists, and I even think now, I guess we're getting into the conversation around like quote unquote Black revolutionaries. As that becomes more mainstream of like, who is this for? Who is this for? How is it getting out there? Who is able to access it? What is the purpose? Who is it for, you know? And again, if you're looking down on if you look down on Black people, and this is what I was saying in my other video before DMV called me back, it's that I feel like people have a talented 10th mentality of like, and you guys have heard me talk about that. Like, I respect W.E.B. Du Bois, thought leader, genius. But I feel like that talented 10th mentality is really toxic, because it's the mentality of like, I'm the supreme nigga. Like, I'm the talented 10th. Like, I'm the cream of the crop. I know better than everyone. I know best. And again, like, I'm going to be the one to like reach back to the 90% and like put all the 90% of the lazy niggas that don't want to do shit on my back. And, you know, me and my book club are going to carry them to the promised land. And it's like, why are you talking down on Black people like this? Like, why are you talking down on Black people like this? And it's almost like, and again, this is not, we first had this conversation 6 months ago when No Name said she was quitting music, because the way that she went about it, she really ripped her Black fans to shreds and ripped Black people to shreds, and it seemed like she was talking down on us and like she didn't like us very much. And even now, a lot of people feel like it's the same attitude of she's talking down on us and she doesn't like us very much, and she thinks she knows everything and she knows best, and so she's gonna save the ungrateful niggers. And who likes that type of thing? Nobody. Like, you don't have to talk to us like that. You don't have to talk to us like that. And so it's kind of like, how do you tell someone you don't have to talk to us like that without tone policing? You know, that's sort of where I feel like this conversation, that's where I am with this conversation. Like, you don't have to talk to us like that, period. But yeah, J. Cole also shouldn't be telling her like her tone, this, that, and a third. Like, no. I still think there was a point made about her being an elitist, though. I do. And even like, and I feel like elitism is popping right now. Like, the idea of liberation as being something exclusive, like join my club or, you know, whatever. I feel like it's becoming trendy, and it's becoming trendy to like quote unquote even be a revolutionary. And I also think that No Name wants attention, because even when she like threw her temper tantrum 6 months ago and said she was quitting, there was like an element of like, I'm not getting the attention that I want from Black people. And so now I feel like she's getting that attention with her revolutionary work, and she likes it. And so now she's becoming the, I guess, the authority, maybe? Like, I don't know. I found her whole original tweet to be weird. Like, why are you number one, why are you subtweeting anyone? Like, oh, we're gonna get to that. Ren plays The Sims. We're gonna get to that. I feel like, number one, why are you subtweeting anyone? If you feel some type of way about your peers, I guess, your rap peers, if you feel some type of way to the point where you're going to make a public statement, which is essentially what she did, name them so we can know who you're talking about. But all this, like, now we have to like gossip about it and like wonder who she's talking about, I feel like is weird. And like, what was the purpose of that, you know? And what Ren Plays The Sims also said, did we forget her original name included a slur? I don't know what happened with that. I think a lot of people did forget, or they didn't know. No Name's original rap name did have a slur. It had, I don't particularly want to say it, but I am going to say it. It had the word gypsy. That was her original name, No Name Gypsy, which is a slur for Romani people. I fucking hate that word. I hate saying it. I hate seeing it. I hate reading it. I don't like it. And when I first heard of No Name was in 2013 when she was on Acid Rap. Chance the Rapper. That was how I first even heard of her. And I remember even back then being like, ooh, I don't like this name at all. And she did end up dropping it because she was told that it was a slur and it was inappropriate. And so she did end up dropping it, which I do respect that she dropped it. But I feel like if anything, that should give her more empathy towards other Black people, because you should be the main one to know that nobody is born into this world, quote unquote, like woke or whatever you want to call it. You should be the main person to know that, because you literally picked a slur for your rap name and you had to be corrected. And now it's like she's above correction or she's above critique, you know? Again, it's like that talented 10th, like she's that girl and she can't be corrected now. It's kind of weird, you know? Oh wait, Bushy Bras, what are you talking about? Sorry. J. Cole made a whole song about Wale. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, are y'all familiar with J. Cole? Like, people are acting like J. Cole is picking on No Name. J. Cole is treating No Name exactly like he's treated the men. There's something like really ironic happening, because I actually feel like J. Cole treated No Name exactly like he treated the men. And I kind of feel like people wanted her to get some special treatment or something. Like, they wanted him to take into account, which I think is fair and a good conversation. They wanted him to take into account the way that Black men speak to Black women, which I think is a fair conversation to have. I think he talked to her exactly the way that he talks to everybody else. Like, he's addressed Wale on wax. He addressed Lil Pump on wax. Like, he addressed Drake on wax. He addressed Kendrick Lamar on wax. Like, J. Cole has addressed every single person that he's ever had an issue with on wax. Like, it seems like he doesn't really do the back and forth on Twitter thing. So it's really interesting to see people be like, well, why did he make a song about it? Like, J. Cole randomly dropped a song last year, Middle Child, that was like about rap and the state of rap and black people and the way the men and women talk to each other, all these types of things. And I'm not even like somebody that follows J. Cole's career like that. Something just popped up briefly. And even I know, like, J. Cole handles things on wax. It seems like that's what he likes to do. So I don't really see what's wrong with that. Yes, he did make an entire song about it. Like, 1985 is a whole entire song that he made about Lil Pump. False Prophets is a whole entire song that he made about Kendrick Lamar. Like, he's made literal whole entire songs. And the fact that you have to even ask this, but you started off saying that he didn't do it, like as if he's picking on her. That's interesting to me. Like, are y'all familiar? Are y'all familiar with J. Cole? Or are we just assuming that he's picking on her? Like, that's really interesting. That's really interesting to me. Like, so I don't, it's kind of an interesting thing that's happening. I think people really want to talk about the way that Black men talk to Black women. That's what they really want to talk about. And I think that's a conversation that we do need to have. And so they're using this moment as a way to like segue into that conversation. Now we can have that conversation, but J. Cole is not picking on No Name. Those seem like two different things, you know? To me, those seem like two different things. We can absolutely talk about the way that Black men talk to Black women. Let's motherfucking talk about it. But do I think that J. Cole was picking on No Name? No. And I do think that people don't want to talk about the fact that No Name is an elitist. And who is her stuff for? Who is her revolutionary work for? Like, I really want to know, who do you guys think it's for? Like, I read her tweets and I just be like, whoa, like, who is this for? It seems like it's so a lot of Black academics can sit around reading the tweets to each other and patting each other on the back about how smart they are. That's how it seems to me. And like, you know, like, and I went to college and like all that stuff, like blah, blah, blah. So like, it's not like I don't understand the words that she's using or, you know, this, that, and the third. Like, No Name's tweets to me read exactly the same as T.I. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like, it's just like a lot of like words. Like, I've seen somebody say word salad. It's like a lot of words. That's how it appears to me. So I just want to know, like, who is her stuff for? Who do you guys feel like her stuff is for? Just like with her music that was like only accessible to white people. What she's doing right now, is it for white people? Who is it for? it almost feels like she's explaining who is she explaining race to? Is this like a Jordan Peele type situation? Like, what is this? Like, what's happening? Like, she does give me very much like woman version of Kendrick Lamar vibes. And you guys know how I feel about Kendrick Lamar. Like, and like No Name went off on her black fans. Like, has anyone ever discussed this? Like, she like threw her black fans under the bus and like acted like she didn't like Negroes. Like, and this was 6 months ago. This was like way before J. Cole even said anything. I did a whole video about it. We had a whole conversation about it. Like, people that throw their black fans under the bus, and it seems like they don't like black people. This was before No Name rebranded herself as like Sister Souljah or whatever she's doing. We had a whole conversation about it 6 months ago. We don't have to skip over that just because now she has a book club or whatever. We can talk about it. Seriously. Dio, we had a whole conversation. That video was like 20 minutes. Like, so I'm interested to know, who do people feel like it's for? Who do people feel like her music is for? Who do people feel like her stuff is for? That's like my question. I see these comments. You guys said Beyonce's an elitist. Sorry, what's that about? So I just wanted to like say some of that, because I don't know. Honestly, those tweets from No Name seem like she had a white person sitting beside her. No Name continues to talk and tweet in a condescending manner. Did she just start to change yesterday? I feel like she doesn't even know herself. It's very disingenuous, especially considering that it wasn't that long ago that she was admonishing her black fans for not supporting her. Admonishing is a good word. It's like No Name admonishes people. It's like No Name admonishes people, similar to how Kendrick Lamar admonishes people. So who is that for? Who is that for? Like, when you climb up on high, and I seen one of y'all put Kid Cudi's tweet, like, "Dear black artists, please don't talk down on the black community like you are God's gift to niggas everywhere." Like, when you sit up on high and you're admonishing niggas, who is it for? Who is it for? Who's it for? Is it really for them? And I also put this on Instagram. I said, if you genuinely don't like black people and you look down on them, even if you yourself are black, this is a question. If you genuinely don't like black people and you look down on them, even if you yourself are black, can you help them? Can you free them? Can you liberate them if you look down on them and you don't like them and you think you're smarter than them and you think you're better than them and you think you know what's best for them? Like, and you know, are you the savior? Like, can you liberate those people with that type of mindset? It's, you know, it's what is it for? It's what is it for? I guess that's what I'm gonna call this video, because I feel like that's what I keep saying. What is it for? Like, what is it for? You're admonishing people. Hi, Neffy. I think she chastises rather than admonishes. Or who is it for? Beyonce got coin, but I don't feel like she looks down on people, especially her fans. We be talking about tomatoes and onions and someone brings up a guitar. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know if that's interesting. I don't know if I believe Beyonce is elitist. Beyonce's kind of country and tacky, but you know, there's country and tacky elitists too. She's definitely a capitalist. She's definitely rich, but I feel No Name's music is nothing more than grandstanding. It's just for show. You don't get to blow J. Cole up about this and ignore what he was actually talking about. I feel like you don't get to blow J. Cole up when we've never even talked about how 6 months ago, like, you didn't like black people. Like, that's never been talked about. That's never been addressed. But now you're like admonishing. It's like you love talk about other black people. I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's like you love talking bad about other black people. It's like you really love talking bad about other black people. Like, at first it was like your fans, and like now it's like some niggas, you know, they've made their whole career, blah blah blah. Like, you love talking shit about other niggas. Like, you live to talk shit about other niggas. Like, I don't know. Like, damn, you like to talk. It's weird. I don't know. And it's also so weird that, like, she didn't name the person that she was specifically talking about. I wish she would have. I feel like if she had named the person she was talking about, we could have, like, had a really good dialogue on that type of thing, because we would have known who specifically she meant. But instead, it turned into, she subtweeted, so it turned into this weird gossip thing. And then, like, J. Cole put out a song responding, so now it's, like, this back and forth thing. Like, what is even the purpose of this exchange now? What's the point? Again, who's this for? What is it for? Why? Like, if you're doing your book club and your book club is popping and people are feeling you, you know, and people are loving what you're doing, why are you continue doing what you're doing? Like, why are you throwing anonymous shots at people? It's weird, especially when you're not even engaging with your own critique. You're not even engaging with your own critiques. You're not even engaging with your own critiques of that you're an elitist, or that you've talked down to your black fans, you've disrespected your black fans, you've disrespected black people. You can't even engage with your own critiques that people have been making about you since before J. Cole even said anything. You've never engaged with that. I do agree that that she should have the most empathy, because she herself picked a slur as her rap name, and yet you want to blow people up. It seems like throwing stones from in a glass house, a big one with a lot of windows. Kimberly Frazier just put, "No name throws rocks and refuses to admit who the rock is meant for. I choose to remain anonymous, but I will continue to talk shit." I very much do not wish to be involved in this narrative. Right, the accountability she is requesting, she hasn't even applied to herself. No, her name used to be, I guess I'm just going to have to continue saying this. Her name used to be No Name Gypsy previously. She dropped it, and just now she goes by just No Name. And see, y'all don't even know that. Y'all don't even know that, because she hasn't even engaged in the fact that her rap name used to contain a racial and ethnic slur. So y'all don't even know that, because she's not even engaging with that on a public level. But she's publicly criticizing other people. Is weird. That's what's weird. That's what's weird. That's what's making people feel like it's weird. You haven't even engaged with the criticism of how you ripped your black fans specifically to shreds 6 months ago and said you were quitting because you are, you know, it was like, I'm no longer, she wrote this whole statement. It was like, I'm no longer going to continue to create music and put it online for black people that refuse to support me. I'm tired of looking out into the audience and seeing nothing but white faces. Like, she was really going off. Like, she was really going off on black people specifically, and not engaging with any of the people that were like, well, your art is not accessible for black people. So what are you going to do about that? She just, like, never addressed it and, like, quietly went away. And then came back 3 weeks ago like Angela Davis. Engage with that shit before you're going to call people out. Especially because you're calling people out and somebody responded to you like, ma'am, you yourself are an elitist that doesn't seem to like black people. And then instead of engaging with that critique yet again, it became about about what J. Cole did to her. It seems kind of, it's weird a little bit to me, even though I'm going to continue saying that J. Cole should not tone police people. Like, don't tone police. Motherfuckers don't need to tone police. Don't tone police anyone. But he does have a point about her being an elitist. Yeah, she did. She dropped it because she found out that it was a slur. I'm saying that she herself didn't know that that was a slur. She didn't know that that was a slur. She had to be told that it was a slur so that she could drop it from her rap name. So what I'm saying is, you yourself should not be overly hypercritical of other Negroes because you yourself had to learn that that word was a slur and remove it from your rap name. You are extremely hypercritical towards other people when you yourself have been in a situation of not knowing something and someone had to tell you. But now you're sitting up on high like you are the queen of everything, woke, and you're admonishing other niggas, specifically Negroes, and talking down to them and not engaging with the critique of the fact that you are an elitist and a black academic, which I also have a video on black academics because it's a lot of black academics and elitists that live to talk down to people because it makes them feel good and it makes them feel high and mighty. And No Name literally just said she was quitting because she was not receiving enough attention, like, and shit from black people, and now she's getting like all this attention. Like, I'm sure she's loving it. I don't want to have to keep saying it, right, Clotilde? Like, I don't want to have to keep saying it. I don't want to have to keep saying that word. I hate that word. I hate that word. Right. If you publicly attack someone, they have the right to respond. If you publicly attack someone, they have the right to respond. I also feel that way for all the people that are like, well, J. Cole could have like responded to her privately. Like, she called them niggas out publicly. Like, she called people out publicly. Why do they have to respond to her in private? She could have reached out to them publicly, whoever she was talking to. Like, come on now. If I made a diss track about someone because I didn't like their tone in the chat and thought they were referring to me, people would think I was crazy. I hate the word crazy. It's another word I don't like. Y'all are like stopping at tone. You guys are stopping at tone. Like as if there weren't like 3 lyrics about the way that she talks to people. But she did not name him. Y'all realize he also didn't name her either. At no point in J. Cole's song did he say fuck No Name. He never named her either. She didn't name him. He didn't name her. So if y'all are going to say she didn't do anything wrong because she didn't name him, then he didn't do anything wrong either because he didn't name her either. Like, everybody kept it anonymous, quote unquote. Like, everybody kept it anonymous. So, I'm talking about on Wax. He responded to her on Wax and he did not name her. Like, no, he didn't. And the whole lyrics of the song, he doesn't just repeat lyrics over and over again about her tone. The point of the song is about her talking down to people. Like, y'all just really, y'all are like, I feel like a lot of people are fine with the way that No Name talks to black people because that's also how they feel about black people. Like, I feel like a lot of people are that, like, that's just how I feel. Like, I think a lot of people are totally fine with the way that she talks to niggas. They don't like niggas. There's a lot of people running around in this revolutionary space that do not like Negroes. They especially think they're better than like people from the ghetto. And so they don't care about how she talks to people because they think they're smarter than everybody just like her. So they're on board with the shit she says and does. They don't think there's anything wrong with it. Even though, like I said, 6 months ago, we were having this exact same conversation about why are you ripping your black fans to shreds and talking down on them like this? And here we are 6 months later having the exact same conversation. Yet the catalyst for this conversation was J. Cole saying it and not us random people on the internet saying it. So what's the problem? I'm serious. Like, he didn't just make a song about her tone and leave it at that. That seems really disingenuous. Like, even if you don't want to listen to the song, like, read the lyrics and see what the song is about. Like, it doesn't matter that she didn't name J. Cole. That's not the point. She's regularly talked down to black people and ripping on her black fans but want to call out others. That's the problem. Like, and people started saying that it was about No Name. So J. Cole addressed it on Twitter, like, saying, like, the follow-up. It's like, y'all are really making it seem like J. Cole came out of nowhere and like picked on No Name. I don't like, that's not what happens. Like, number one, she tweeted first. She subtweeted and kept it anonymous. He made a song and kept it anonymous. People ran with the song saying the song was about her, so he followed up. Is that not the timeline? If that's not the timeline, somebody tell me the timeline of what happened. Because at first, I didn't even know that she had tweeted something. At first, I was like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, where did this come from? And then I was like, oh, she said something. Okay, well, obviously you want to have a... And I also feel like people are allowed to have a dialogue. You want to have a dialogue, right? That's why you tweeted it out, right? Or did you not tweet it out for a dialogue? Did you just tweet it out so you could, like, hear yourself clicking the keyboard? Like, if you tweeted it out because you want to have a dialogue, and then J. Cole responded with what he thought... So maybe now you guys can have a dialogue about it? I don't understand. Like, what? Like, I don't understand. If it's not a dialogue, then why did she say it? I'm going to keep asking. Why do you... No one has answered me, like, who do they think she's talking to? And what is it for? Okay? Because isn't that supposed to be the point? You tweeted something. Somebody responded to your criticism with what they think. So is this not now a dialogue? No? Or what's the point? It could have only been two people, Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. That's it. That's it. I really don't... I've seen people saying, like, other possible people, like, the fact that we even have to speculate on who it is part of the problem. Like, why didn't she just name the names of who she was talking about specifically? Now we have to speculate. And now there's all this gossip. So is that the point? What is the purpose? What was the purpose of the tweet? What was the purpose of the tweet that set all this off? That's what I want to know. It is a dialogue, but people don't agree with J. Cole, so they just want him to stop. People really think that just because they tweet something and say they don't want other people to respond, that other people won't, and act like the responders are the problem. Right, Vermilion Dynamo. I feel like this shit is almost like gaslighting, low key. Like, you don't just get to say whatever. You don't just get to say whatever and nobody can respond to you. I say all type of shit that people find fucking inflammatory, and people are allowed to fucking respond to me. Like, you don't just get to say whatever the fuck you want and then be like, I want to remove myself from this fucking narrative. You started it. You started it. You started it. If you can't take the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. No? Or what? Like, people really think they can just hop on Twitter, hop online and say anything? Like, I am a firm believer in, like, don't duck if it don't apply. Firm believer. Firm believer. But I'm also a firm believer that people should be allowed to defend themselves if they feel like somebody is coming at them wrong. Like, people are not wrong for defending themselves from somebody that they feel is coming at them wrong. And there's really only two people she could have been talking about. It was like the shit she said was, I felt like the shit she said was specific enough that we knew who she was referring to. Like, we knew. Right. That's really, she thought she was going to flex. Right. She thought she was going to flex. She thought she was about to flex on fucking J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar with her subtweet. And instead, J. Cole responded, which I think he's allowed to do if he feels like she's coming at him wrong and she's an elitist talking down to people. He's well within his right. I don't really think he disrespected her. He didn't name her in the song. The only thing I didn't like was the tone policing. But you can't be trying to flex on people and then get scared. Like, own it. Like, own it. Like, stand in what you said. Like, stand. I don't even like that she deleted the tweet. Like, stand in what you said. stand in what you said. Or hush. I seen something I wanted to read out loud. Oh, Queen is reading tweets. Past talks from tweets from No Name. She wrote about how other artists, oh yeah, somebody said, didn't she bring up Meg Thee Stallion? She wrote about how other artists have more diverse crowds than she does, using Megan Thee Stallion, DaBaby, and Shmino as examples. And like I said, I feel like No Name's fans are also elitists. Like, I really do. Somebody fucking wrote me on Instagram that was like, something about like No Name is upset because all people care about is like people shaking their ass like Meg Thee Stallion or something like that. I was like, why are we talking about Meg Thee Stallion shaking her ass? Like, what does Meg Thee Stallion shaking her ass have to do with any of this? Like, people are already salty. Like, they already feel some type of way. And that's respectability politics. Like, No Name is like she's the talented 10th. Like, she's the spoken word girl come to save us from Meg Thee Stallion and her latex outfits and her face full of fucking whore makeup that we hate, even though Meg Thee Stallion is literally not bothering anybody. Like, people are literally not bothering anyone. J. Cole is not bothering anyone. Like, yes, and she always got something to say about some niggas. Like, some niggas. Like, she will talk about white supremacy in these real broad, vague academic terms. And then she'll be like, but that nigga over there, Meg Thee Stallion. Like, I don't like that girl. But them niggas over there that wasn't trying to come to my show, I ain't like them niggas. Like, girl, what? It's too much. In another tweet, she said, what's funny is most black artists are just as uncomfortable performing for majority white crowds, but will never publicly say that. Like, what are you talking about? No one has a gun to your head forcing you to fucking perform at predominantly white crowds. Like, and this is literally what we said in the video from 6 months ago on The Girls Are Quitting. Like, at any moment, you can have a motherfucking powwow with your manager about how you don't feel like you're playing the appropriate venues because you want your stuff to be accessible to black people. But that's something that happens behind the scenes. That's not something that happens on Twitter where we can all give her a round of applause for being so woke. So it never happened. Instead, she shitted all over her black fans and ripped them to shreds specifically. And they didn't let her get away with that shit either. They fucking removed her from the motherfucking paint too. Oh, look, see? Look, Queen! She also said this. Y'all really, because the black people, her fans responded to her. Like, we love you, but we can't afford to see you. And she tweeted, y'all really pushing the idea that black people can't come to my shows because of black death and financial restraint. As if DaBaby, Megan, and Shmino shows ain't black as hell. Like, what are you talking about? Are you trying to say that niggas is not broke? What are you trying to say? But now you're like Miss Anti-Capitalist, and yet you haven't even discussed these horrible things that you said about your black fans? I know y'all like No Name, but y'all really think that's fair? Y'all really think that's fair? Meg CashApp people money when they stream Sugar. These are her words. Like, just say you don't like my shit and move around. Right, Queen. Just say you're mad and move around. Just say you're mad and move around. And these are her words. And it's not like this was shit she said 2-3 years ago. This was shit from a few months ago. I did a whole video on it. Everybody mysteriously now has amnesia. They don't remember her saying this stuff. Yes, Ori, we've been talked about this. We were talking about it in Discord. I literally put in Discord. I was like, why do I feel like I'm having deja vu? Like we've had this exact same conversation before about No Name. I was like, haven't we had this fucking conversation before about this girl? And then Queen was talking about it in Discord, and it literally started coming back to me. I was like, oh, I remember. We did. I was like, we did have a I was like, we had a whole conversation about her being an elitist. I was like, it's all coming back to me now. Like, and now people don't remember. It's so weird. I feel like I'm fucking living in the multiverse. I really feel like I'm having deja vu. Like we've already had this exact same, literally this exact same conversation about this girl. Like, but I really do feel like a good rebrand works wonders. She must have got a new manager or something. We've been talked about this in the live, how Meg and the baby ran. Sorry, hold on. I hit a button. Hey, sorry, I hit a button. Sorry. I hit a button there. Sorry. Fucks! Will you stop doing that? Fuck. My fucking mobile. Sorry. I keep like hitting shit. I literally feel like I'm having deja vu. It's fucking weird as hell. But like now we're in the whatever's going on times. So like people have forgotten the things that people said and did when we weren't in the revolutionary times or whatever. People are acting like J. Cole having the gall to disagree with her equals disrespect. I have no issue with what No Name said or J. Cole's response, and I don't see either as the villain. I think the most valid criticism of J. Cole was that he talked about No Name having more opportunities when he's the one who's been in college and has been alive. Long. Being alive longer as a black person is really a privilege, isn't it? Isn't that like a lot? Isn't that like intense? So when you've been alive longer, okay, like you made it to 35, you have a privilege. It's like you kind of do. Has more money, etc., etc. I think that was valid as well, but I sort of feel like that's just personally, I sort of feel like that's like a willful misinterpretation of what J. Cole said, because I don't think J. Cole was talking about himself. J. Cole was talking about her fans. He's talking about her fan base. Like, that was how I felt. That was just how I felt. That was just my interpretation. Like, you're talking down to people that look up to you. They're looking up to you. They want to support you, be it your music, be it your revolutionary work, and you're talking down to them when you have the opportunities that they don't have. But again, J. Cole shouldn't tone police. And right, like, I agree, like, J. Cole picked the wrong, like, that wasn't what to say, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. Like, maybe I wouldn't have said it, but please check No Name's Twitter. She's throwing hard shots in this poem, accusing Cole of making it about himself when there's bigger issues. Miss, why are you even on Twitter? Why are you even on Twitter talking about this? Like, I don't understand. I so don't understand. Like, I'm so confused. Like, I just don't understand. And I'm also going to go ahead and say, and I know people aren't going to like this, but I have to say it. I'm sorry. I'm also going to go ahead and say that J. Cole is No Name's OG. Like, since somebody just said, like, he's older than her and, like, all this other stuff. Like, J. Cole is No Name's OG. Right now, at this moment in 2020, you have the space to, like, do a lot of this, sitting on Twitter and talking about this type of stuff. And talking about this stuff, and like a lot of people have the space to like talk about this stuff in music and on Twitter and in mainstream spaces, because in 2014, when J. Cole dropped 2014 Forest Hills Drive, like, that shit wasn't cool at that time. Like, that was like the first wave of Black Lives Matter, and people were like very distancing themselves from like doing that type of thing. That was the year that like Common said like black people need to extend a hand in love to white people. That was around them times that Pharrell was saying, you know, the new black doesn't even believe in racism. Like it was not cool to sit on the internet and like talk the way that we talk now. As much as I dislike Kendrick Lamar, I have to also give Kendrick Lamar his props for also being a part of making these type of conversations mainstream, and J. Cole as well. These are your OGs. I know you guys don't like to hear that. But in terms of rap, these are your OGs. Like these are your OGs. They made a space for you. And yes, they are privileged, absolutely. And they're privileged as men, absolutely. They're privileged as older, absolutely. They're privileged as rich, absolutely. But they did also make a space for you to be here. Like, you just got here. No offense. I know people are not going to like that. But, like, you just got here. Like, these are your OGs. I am your OG, and you will respect me as such. Like... it's weird. It's weird. And I know people like don't believe in that type of thing anymore, but you know, if you want to have a productive conversation about it, we can have a conversation about it. But you're not about to this is how I would feel. I'm going to tell you guys the truth about how I would feel. This is how I would feel. You're not about to subtweet me. You know, you're subtweeting me. You're not saying my name. But you're tweeting shit that's specific enough that I know you're talking about me. There's only 1 or 2 people you could be talking about. You're either talking about me or you're talking about my other peer who's also your OG that made a space for you to even be here. I'd respond. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't because that would be a lie. Like, I'd be like, excuse me? Especially when you yourself have never addressed how you like to talk down on people and how you was just quitting music 6 months ago because you're tired of Negroes. You're tired of like poor motherfuckers. And now you're like the champion of poor motherfuckers everywhere. You have never engaged with that in any meaningful way. I'd probably say something to you also. No, I don't agree. I don't agree with this. We can agree to disagree. I honestly don't think No Name was thinking about a specific person as much as a general gripe. I don't agree. I feel like her tweet was really specific. I personally feel like her tweet was extremely specific. And when I even saw it, I was like, okay, she's either talking about J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. And somebody else said, or possibly Donald Glover. I personally don't think Donald Glover because I don't think, she said something about like, they've built a whole she literally said like your top selling fave like black poor people are out here putting their bodies on the front lines when your top selling fave rapper can't even tweet when they've made a whole discography on black plight. That's very specific. Number 1, top rapper, so that narrows it down. Like your top fave rapper, that narrows it down right there. Whole discography on black plight, that narrows it down. Like it was very specific. Like it was a subtweet. Like I was talking to Queen about it and I was like, you know, that's like if I said like, you know, this girl that thinks she all that because she moderates on YouTube, this and this and like there you can give signifiers of who you're talking to. Like so I definitely don't think it was like a vague. People trying to make it seem like it was this vague statement. It was not a vague statement. No. Hi, Nelson. I don't think it was a vague statement. I just think people want to have a conversation about the way that black men talk to black women. And so they're like dragging that into this conversation that we're having right now. Oh, you talking about Discord? I do think that it's good to have that conversation, though. And I do think it's good that people are talking about tone policing. But it's very ironic to me that people are talking about tone policing, but they're not talking about elitism. Like, they're not talking about academia in revolution work. and elitism, and people that don't like other Black people, they love being the champion. You know, they want to be the face. Like, they want to be the face of whatever revolution or whatever. And they like don't like other Black people, and they talk down to other Black people, and they use all this language that like your average Black person cannot understand. Like Bell Hooks said that any critical theory that's not accessible to the masses is meaningless. Like, half the shit that No Name says, like, your average person cannot understand. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just like, it's like we can't engage. Yeah, she says she can't stand academia, but have you ever like go read her tweets out loud? Like, she still uses like heavy academic language, and like you can't just be like, I hate academia, and then like use all this like academic language and shit that like people don't even understand. You can't just say things. Didn't I already say that? Like, you can't just say things. Like, you can't just say things and then just, like, you have to also, like, do shit as well. Like, I don't know. That's why I said putting dirty laundry out without it being laundry day. If she wanted to discuss her real issues instead of subs, she should just start the dialogue. She just did a thing with, like, somebody. I can't think of it right now. She just did a thing with somebody, like a talk. Like, if you want to have a talk, those tweets had somebody specific in mind. You guys can think that they didn't, but they definitely did. So you could have reached out to whoever that was if you wanted to like have the dialogue, but like you didn't want a dialogue. You just wanted to like say your piece and like mic drop, and you got a response. And you're not prepared. It's like, and you're not prepared for that response, then you shouldn't have said anything. That's just how I feel about that aspect of it. About the aspect of like, what do people respond to? I find like people can respond to whatever they want. Let's like say that. People can respond to whatever they want. Like, she said something and got a response. That's not out of pocket. Right, like, don't throw it if you're not trying to play catch. Like, so, Cole just caught the stone. She threw it. Wait, I see you guys talking about clothes and shoes. I missed something. This quarantine has folks doing extra shit on Twitter. Pitiful. I do also think that there's an element of performative, like, to what she's doing, because she specifically had an issue with not getting enough attention and support from Black people in the past. I do feel like she found a way to get it. Today's the second time I'm seeing someone judging poor people by police and how they should use their money. Wait, what did I miss about the money and the shoes and the clothes? Why are y'all always defaulting to played out untrue stereotypes? What did I miss? I missed something about shoes and clothes. Let's not generalize this either. We don't spend all our money on new shoes and all that. That's not okay. Normani didn't do anything. It was brought up. I mentioned how in my video on how the girls are quitting, Normani was brought up along with No Name as somebody that doesn't seem to appreciate their Black fans. And maybe not Normani. I don't want to say Normani like personally, but I know that like her choreographers made some statements, and like some people in her camp have like made some statements, some remarks disparaging her Black fans, and No Name did similarly. And 6 months ago, all these girls said that they were quitting music. They weren't going to do music anymore. So I did a whole video about why do people talk to their Black fans so shitty? Like, how people don't value their Black fans, and they don't like Black people, and they like pile on their Black fans like so ruthlessly. And this was way before J. Cole even said anything about this girl. We had a whole conversation about it. So Like, I don't think he's wrong. We had the conversation already. Now, I agree with some people that, like, you know, maybe this wasn't the right time. And I definitely don't think he should have told her to, like, watch her tone. But that other stuff he said about her is not untrue. No name. And it's not like he's the first person to say it. We had a whole conversation about it previously. But this was, like, before everybody, like, woke up 3 weeks ago or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I don't know what's happening. Classic deflection tactic. You talk about one issue, then you shoehorn an entirely different issue in, not because you care about it, because it deflects away from the actual conversation. Yeah, I do kind of feel like that's what's happening. People don't really want to engage critically in the way that No Name addresses her black fans and has been involved in, like, disrespecting black people previously, because they just want to, like, go with what she's doing now without having to engage in that critically. So instead, they're making this a conversation about the way that black men talk to black women, which is a conversation that we need to also have. But we should also engage with fucking elitism and motherfuckers talking down on niggas, because it's exhausting. Someone else was just talking about that. It has become who's in front of the protest, not who's actually there. Right. And I just said in my video on performative protest, it's like people are going to protest to get photographed and to, you know, grab the mic and give speeches and feel like they're educating people and release information packets. Like, that's not even the point. We supposed to be trying to get free. And that's also why I don't really like Talented 10th, because, like, Talented 10th is like, you about to be the hero. Like, you about to be the hero. Don't unblock anybody that got blocked. Don't unblock anybody that got blocked. Don't unblock anybody that got blocked. I just saw that. Don't unblock anybody that got blocked. People want to be the hero. They want to be the face of the protest right now. This was also, remember we had that other conversation because Janelle Monáe said niggas can go buy Popeye's chicken sandwiches, but they can't vote. Remember she said that? And so I did a whole video on Popeyes or vote. A lot of people were, like, talking about fucking black people so bad. It was, like, around, like, 4 to 6 months ago. Like, all these people were saying all this shit. Thank you, Super Chat. Thank you, Akil. People was doing all this shit about, like, niggas don't want to vote and niggas don't want to fucking buy $200 concert tickets. Niggas want to buy motherfucking chicken sandwiches and they want to buy sneakers and, like, you know, like... No Name trending #1 on Twitter. She wanted some attention. She got it. So I've seen this has, like, massively raised her profile. I've seen a lot of people saying, like, they had no idea who No Name even was before this. So, like I said, she wanted some attention and she got it. She wanted some attention and she got it. Like, 6 months ago, she was literally quitting music because she wasn't getting attention. Now she's #1 trending on Twitter. You guys really think that's a coincidence? Serious question. Y'all think that just happened? Smells like promo. And I know, and that's nothing against her personally, but it's weird. Sorry, let me see. I know I'm, like, I'm doing, like, bad with comments today, but there's a lot of comments. Anybody that got blocked is gonna stay blocked. Period. The mods have say. Unless it's, like, an accident or a regular. The mods have say. Just so y'all know. Like, the mods will block you. Yeah, so I see something was said about, like, black people buying fucking shoes and clothes. Yeah, like, don't tone police. Don't talk to women. Right, exactly, Yaska, exactly. That's my complaint about, like, the tone policing, and, like, that stuff's totally fair. But valid criticisms have been made, and nobody wants to talk about it. I feel like she's guilting black people into buying her tickets. Classic deflection tactic. People want to be the only one out in front. It's become who's who at the protest. She want to talk shit about niggas. Thank you. Somebody else just did super chat. Thank you. She want to talk shit about niggas who would rather buy new shoes and stuff. What would she do with her money that she gets from you? Probably buy shoes and stuff. That's why I said putting dirty laundry out without it being laundry day. If she want to discuss real issues instead of subs, she should just start the dialogue. I'm peeping these comments. Black people wear Jordans and want to shake ass. Side eye. Thank you, super chat. So since I could buy shoes, I gotta drop $100 on a tour. Yeah, it was like niggas could buy fucking Jordans and clothes. That's what I missed. It was like niggas could buy Jordans and clothes, but they can't buy tickets to my concert. That's what No Name said. That's why I said it seems really disingenuous for her to now be talking about like the poor black people that have their bodies on the front lines. Like it was just 6 months ago. You were just talking down on them same poor black people about how they fucking buy Jordans instead of buy concerts to your shows. And how they're, you know, they're ghetto. Like that's basically what she was saying. That I feel like that has to be engaged with critically before you try to call somebody else out. No? No Name seems like she doesn't want her white fans, but wants her black fans to support her more, but she addressed those black fans horribly. It was like with no, again, and I feel like this was the point. It was like with no empathy. It was like very cruel. The way that she talks to black people and the way that she talks to her black fans is cruel. It's very mean. There's no understanding. And that's what J. Cole said in the song. Like, damn, you really don't like niggas. Like, you clearly think niggas are fucking stupid and broke and ghetto. And that we owe you something, and we owe you support, and we owe you monetary support. And maybe if we stopped buying Jordans and bought fucking tickets to your shows and participated in your book club, we wouldn't be living in the ghetto. Like, that's the whole vibe. That's the whole vibe. It's elitist. It's respectability politics. No Name is demonstrating a dislike for working class black people. The whole criticism over niggas want clothes, new clothes and shoes is a stereotype about us, those of us for who it applies. Something makes me feel a way about these comments saying, well, black folks got gold chains and Jordans. They got money for tickets. I'm really side-eyeing. Right. I feel like these are No Name's fans. These are the people she's talking to. So they don't see nothing wrong with what she said because they agree with her. And if you agree with her, that's fine. But I do not agree. Like, I'm not with the elite. I'm not an elitist. And you can be an elitist without, like, you can... She's like a thought. This is how I think of it, because somebody asked me if I feel like this has to do with capitalism. This is how I feel about it. Even though No Name is like an alleged anti-capitalist, I feel like what people don't understand is that our current society, we have an attention economy, okay? So even if it's not actual monetary capital, even though No Name did specifically talk about monetary capital and how people are not supporting her monetarily, but they have money for Jordans and clothes and gold chains. So I don't know how she all of a sudden she's an anti-capitalist, but okay, that's fine. Like, you know, she got unplugged, now she's an anti-capitalist, cool. What people don't understand is that monetary capitalism has also influenced our attention economy. It's influenced, you know, via social media and the internet, that now in addition to monetary capital, people also receive social capital, and they receive cultural capital, okay? So you can say all the good talk all day about how you're an anti-capitalist and, you know, you're not into money and this, that, and the third. But if you look down on working class black people, if you're that still makes you a fucking elitist. Maybe you feel you're not a capitalist, but you're still an elitist. You still have an elitist mindset because you're dealing in this attention economy of, well, if black people would just do X, Y, and Z, they'd be better. That's bullshit. That's false. That's not true. So you've just exchanged the one mindset of if niggas had more money, they'd be better, for a different mindset that's still rooted in capitalism. You guys see what I'm saying? That's the thing. Gold chains is a good investment. Like, and I also think that No Name is trying to trade in social capital right now. At this moment, attention economy, getting the attention that she wants. She couldn't get the money from people, so now she's getting attention. She never thought that maybe people go see other artists because at least they're worth the money to them. No Name has 1.6 million listeners on Spotify and a song with 40 million streams. Rico Nasty has only 400 listeners. I'm sorry, 400,000. Rico Nasty has only 400,000 listeners. Why is everyone acting like she's more underappreciated than everyone else? Bye. Yay, I got a block. Haha. Let's see. I really want people to think about capitalism not just in the sense of monetary capital and monetary gain. You guys have to also understand that in addition to a monetary economy, we're living in a attention economy that operates off of social media and the internet and like performative, like appearances. So once you have the social capital, and this is also why when we talk about cultural appropriation, we talk about cultural capital and how cultural capital can be changed into monetary capital, right? Like, understand that. It's very easy to be like, I'm an anti-capitalist. I don't like money. It's harder to also be like, I'm also not bought into the attention economy of I have this attention and I have this platform and I know everything and I'm better than everyone and I have all the knowledge. That's still a capitalist mindset. Think about that, guys. Attention economy, learned a new one today. Yeah, that's the concept. Cultural capital is just as cultural and social capital is definitely just as poisonous as monetary capital. Absolutely. And especially since social and cultural capital, again, can be converted into monetary capital. That shit like really gasses people's head up. And it's the same influence, like as if money was being exchanged, even though it's not. Like, capitalism is the devil, y'all. Like, it touches shit. Like, it touches shit. It touches shit. It gets into everything. These black celebrities are proponents of capitalism, yet want to tell black people how to spend their money. And like just because we're talking about No Name had an issue with people not paying black people specifically, because black people. She had an issue with black people not paying money to come see her in concert. It wasn't like, again, let me reevaluate my venues so that my tickets could be more affordable, or so that I can do more free shows, or like when we had the whole conversation about Megan Thee Stallion and DaBaby coming up on a Chitlin circuit, let me go perform, like theories, like there's things you could have done, like if that was the issue, but instead you put the onus of responsibility on the poor black people, like, well, y'all have money for Jordans and shit, like why can't you come see my shows? That's where there's a disconnect, and that's where people start feeling like seems like you don't really like niggas. like that's where that comes from. I just seen a really interesting comment. It said something like people are anti-capitalist, but they have all these. What was it? Where was it? I missed it. It was something like, you're telling people how to spend money. How dare you buy shoes when you can give me that money instead? She's just entitled. That's all. I've been missing these super chats. I want to get to you guys' specific names. Akil, thank you. Smells like promo. I hope that new black I see your comments keep making. I hope that new black manager she got, tell her to tweet the way she's tweeted now, could be part of a larger rebrand. Chicken sandwiches are cheaper than concert tickets. Do they want people going to the concert hungry and broke? Yes, they want them to stop spending that money on fucking chicken sandwiches and spend it on concert tickets, god damn it. She's not #1 trending, but this low-key doesn't smell right. Black outrage is the best marketing strategy, even when we do it to each other. I concur. And again, that's getting into social capital and cultural capital. And I have a video on that too. What is it called? Manipulating narratives and monetizing black outrage or something like that is what it's called. It's all performative. She'll definitely get more white fans, the ones she doesn't want at her concerts. They're gonna eat this up. All these celebrities are giving me big headache energy. Remy, thank you. Remy, sending you money for educating the masses instead of buying Popeye's chicken or Jordan's. I'm the best at being black. Remy, you win being black. You win being black today. I have to screenshot that because that's hilarious. Bushy brows. Get some of this unemployment check. Lyrical Lena Waithe. Dragon Lyrical Lena Waithe Queen. Y'all are hilarious. I just saw the super chat commentary. Black celebrities that are proponents of capitalism yet want to tell black people how to spend their money frighten me. How are you strongholding how people should spend their money? Thrift Queen. Someone sort of repeated the sentiment and then tried to pivot and say something about how we don't buy black. Still not relevant. Oh, okay. I mean, it's just like work with people. That's like I've done events. Every event I've ever had has been free because I just don't feel right charging people. And it's not like, and I have to live too, because it is like a capitalist society. So like, I appreciate every single super chat. I appreciate like every Cash App. I appreciate everything. But like, people are never going to have to pay to get in my events. I feel morally wrong about it. Like, so it's just interesting to see people be like, don't buy them Jordans, buy tickets to my concert. What are we talking about here? I think I read this one. I feel like both people are in the wrong. I thought J. Cole was the kind of guy to call her up and speak to her and not put out a whole song in front of everyone. The only reason why I feel like she said what she said publicly, though. I just don't feel like things that are put out there publicly have to be addressed privately. Yes, J. Cole totally could have called her. Absolutely. And she also could have called whoever the fuck she's talking about. But instead, she posted it on Twitter. She posted it with enough specific details that we could wonder about who it is specifically. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Donald Glover, all names that have got thrown out there. So now their names got dragged into it publicly because now we're all speculating about who she's talking about. That was something that she did publicly. J. Cole does not have to call her to clear it up. I don't think that's fair. People don't have to deal with shit privately that was made public. They can. And maybe some people would even consider that being the bigger person, but they don't have to. A lot of these people basically forget where they come from. She's a pompous elitist. Anytime I get ready to judge black people for buying expensive ass shoes, I think of all the frivolous shit I drop coins on impulse and tell my brain to shut the fuck up. I saw her on an interview talking about praxis. You see, like the word praxis. You can say that you hate academia and academics. Your average American probably doesn't know the word praxis. I just learned that word, praxis, like last year or a couple years ago. And the reason why I learned that word was because I did an art and activism fellowship program, and I was the only one in there that didn't have like a master's degree in fucking art. Praxis is an art word. And I was the only one in there that like didn't have a master's degree in fucking art, and they're like using all these terms and they're like using all these things, and it wasn't like an academic program even. It was an activism program and an art program, and they're using all these words that I do not know. I have to go look them up. Who's that for? That's for like the people that have access. So now we're talking about accessibility. And when we're talking about No Name, there's already been an issue with who has the accessibility to her stuff, because it's already been an issue with black people specifically not having accessibility to her stuff. Are we not allowed to talk about this? It's like people don't want to engage with that because they want to ride with her. And even the first time around, that's why people were so offended when she went off on her black fans, because it's like, people want to ride for you. Like, people like you. Why are you talking to your black fans like this? She was basically like, stop spending money on Megan Thee Stallion, come spend it on me. Are you taking away from Meg Thee Stallion's bag? A fair point, queen. She named people specifically. She named Meg Thee Stallion, DaBaby, and Smino, and said people support them monetarily, but not her. She just sounded salty. And she still does. And she's just hiding it now behind a bunch of academic jargon while also saying she hates academia and she's an anti-capitalist while still engaging in cultural capital and social capital. She just knows all the right things to say. And she's saying them. She's mad because Black people are not helping her amass wealth. It's a false equivalence. If we can show people want No Name to be shown so much grace. If we can show her that grace, we can show it to literally any other Black person. Right. Which was also J. Cole's point in the song about grace and empathy for your fellow Black person. Black people, few people want to get rid of capitalism. Most just want to be at the top of the hill. $400 for an hour concert? No, ma'am. People be using that social capital, hence businesses saying we are for Black lives. Now I'm reading comments, so let me catch up and then I'll probably end. You guys talking about the $400 concert tickets. She did respond to J. Cole, basically said, why are you talking about me when you could be doing something about the state of the world? I don't know what to say. It just seems so random for her to be going at J. Cole of all people about this. Like, J. Cole of all people, who was literally like one of the first like people to like get out and protest. It's like really weird. Like, why him? It's random. And the same could be said about her. Like, you're tweeting when you could be doing something about the state of the world. Like, I get it. You think you're doing something. I'm sure you are doing something. But, like, who are you to say that other people... It just seems like she's throwing she's throwing stones from inside a glass house. Like, everything she's saying could also be applied to her. You feel me? For her to clown how people are spending their money, knowing Black people are systematically at an economic disadvantage is disgusting. I agree. If we're monetizing connections by using culture, we have to talk about social capital. I call it sign value because I like them bougie French philosopher words. People still keeping tabs on other people's money. Wow. I'd rather buy some new hair that will last me 18 months than go to a concert. Sorry. Yes, attention economy, this evening's meditation. Social and cultural capitalism is because we're still trying to be conscious under a capitalist system. Yes, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Capitalism is the devil's nectar. Of course, she just dropped a song. Yeah, because now she has that attention. All eyes are on her finally. The Black people that she's been admonishing for 6 months are finally looking at her. People have been pocket watching since those stimulus checks rolled out. Guilt shaming won't make me stream her music. She even said Black millionaires and billionaires are hoarding money. I'm just not getting her right now. Right, like you were just complaining. She want to act like a loan shark, only people don't owe her shit. Run me my money. Anti-capitalist with capitalist views and talking points. By the way, we need to heavily reinvest into the Chitlin circuit. Black-owned infrastructure is the key to our independence. Agreed. Baby, a $400 wig gonna last a few years for me. Oh my gosh! That's horrible! Okay, yeah. No Name is officially a clout demon. He really about to write about me when the world doesn't smoke, when it's people in trees, when George begging for his mother, saying he couldn't breathe, you thought about me. When all these things were happening, you subtweeted about other rappers first. You were the one with other rappers on your brain, No Name. You were the one that brought them up and tweeted about them. You wrote about them. This is officially gaslighting now. This is officially, I'm starting to feel triggered now. Now I feel triggered. Clout demon, that's it. Bye. Not a coincidence at all. Manufactured publicity. It's strange she just released the song. Looks like No Name is getting a whole new fan base right now, calling out specific Black people and gaining new Black fans and non-Black fans, the same non-Black fans she shunned before. You don't need sustenance. You need to support me and my shows. Nah. That sounds like her goal, get a new fan base. She basically said, if you're not buying my concert tickets, you're not black. I swear all the non-blacks that have been in black people's comments the last few weeks are now no-name fans. You don't need those shoes, game systems, and chicken sandwiches. Pay me instead. Performers are low-key entitled recently. Put down that taco and buy a ticket. Non-blacks be listening to Kendrick Lamar and No Name, be thinking they can critique black people like the albums are Racism 101. But I'm gonna end soon because that was too much. That was too much. That was too much. Jordans are as frivolous as her concert, if we're going to be honest. I feel like J. Cole's purpose was to continue the dialogue, not slam her. People are really reaching. No Name doesn't even support black-owned businesses in Chicago. She doesn't even post anything from her own neighborhood, but wants to wag her finger at other celebs. Wow. This is all a way to gatekeep spaces. No Name could do free shows and still be good. I'm tired of them acting like that. Wow. So low-key, she's doing the same thing people buried Lana Del Rey under just a few weeks ago. Out of pocket. She doesn't want to take accountability. No Name is trying to pull a power move to be the wokest by going after J. Cole. I agree, Green with Abundance. I feel like a lot of people are very salty about J. Cole and also Kendrick Lamar being seen as like the face of the woke rappers. And it seems like a lot of people are like that Wale tweet, when somebody like tweeted about Wale being at a protest. I mean, somebody tweeted about J. Cole being at a protest, and Wale tweeted like, y'all Messiah, not the only one out there. Like, whoa, like what? I definitely think people are pulling power moves. No Name is trying to pull a power move to be the wokest by going after J. Cole. Using George Floyd's words in a fucking poem like that when you're the one that literally started this, you're the one that started this because you tweeted at other rappers. And now you're talking about, why are you talking about me and thinking about me? Why are you talking and thinking about other rappers? You started it. Nah, she's tripping. She's tripping. She's tripping. She's tripping. Period. She's tripping. And especially after you've already had multiple incidents of like talking down on black people, which is exactly what he said. She's tripping. She's tripping. She hates the fact that other artists are providing their fans with a better service than her. Rather than competing, she'd rather cry. Nah, she's tripping. Sorry. No. She's tripping. Sorry. No. 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 She's definitely gaslighting. She's gaslighting as fuck. She could have simply said, right now I'm supporting this cause and doing this work, versus what she decided to say. She's out of pocket. No Name blocked me on Twitter a few months ago after I replied to her tweet about white crowds and quitting because white people won't see her shows. SMH, this is crazy. She's deflecting. She doesn't want to take accountability. She wanted somebody like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar to respond. Yeah, we already said, like, no one should tone police. J. Cole should not have tone policed her, but his criticism of her was valid. Her criticism of her being an elitist is not fucking X'd out. His criticism of her was correct. She used the murders of trans women as ammo. Wow, trash. Y'all realize beef with Kendrick or J. Cole is the perfect publicity stunt. A beef with a high-profile activist rapper to boost her clout. She's wrong. This is all time wasting. The point is that she's not above critique either. And y'all saying like J. Cole is like wrong for replying to her. She started it. If somebody fucking hits you, you can hit them back. You're not wrong. Y'all are gaslighting. This shit seems real emotionally abusive right now. J. Cole has been criticized, but we're not about to act like he deserves to be dragged, and she doesn't. issue for issue, she's more of an issue than he is. Right. People want to talk about how black men talk to black women. Let's talk about that. Absolutely. But this is dead wrong. This is dead wrong. This is dead wrong. And everybody keeps talking about Lil Pump, jumping over the fact that J. Cole made a whole song addressing Lil Pump called 1985, just like he did No Name. Why are we jumping over that? I'm reading it now. She's guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and straight up pouting in this poem. While they be hating, he's salty as fuck. The conversation, I think people are making it a gender thing because the conversation was already going on. Yeah, like people want to have a conversation about the way that black men talk to black women, and it seems like J. Cole is catching a stray right now. Because he's not incorrect about her being an elitist. People just don't want to talk about that because they want to talk about the way that black men talk to black women. So she's getting a pass. And she's obviously like riding this wave. No, that poem was embarrassing. It's a woke war. Yeah, that's what you said, the Thrift Queen. Y'all Messiah ain't the only one outside. Nah, she's out of pocket. She's using tactics that would be designated abusive if the situation was different. She's definitely using abusive tactics right now. This is some wild emotional abuse, gaslighting shit. We're allowed to say it. I just got super triggered. He's not wrong for responding at all. I'm done. Nah, I'm over it. J. Cole's definitely catching a stray right now. You're right. If No Name isn't addressing anyone privately, no one should either. I guess the general public sees that J. Cole responded directly and No Name did it indirectly. It's like, so is it better to throw, we really believe it's better to throw indirect shots on fucking Twitter now than to address shit publicly? Is that really where we are as a fucking society? Is that not backwards as fuck to y'all? We would rather people throw indirect subtweets on Twitter and then be like, I don't want to talk about it, versus somebody that addresses it directly. That's why I'm not even on Twitter. Okay, J. Cole been problematic, and so has No Name. So we going to talk about it? Or are we just going to talk about J. Cole? Are we going to talk about No Name? Y'all don't want to talk about No Name. We can talk about J. Cole. I said numerous times J. Cole was totally wrong for trying to tone police her. But do y'all want to talk about how No Name is an elitist? Or you don't want to talk about it? No Name been problematic. I did a video on her 6 months ago about how she talks down to niggas. Do y'all want to talk about it? No. All I'm saying is that actual black activists who've done this work for decades ain't having all this beef about who's the wokest and who's just now showing up. No Name acts like a man can't respond to her criticism. Like, No Name was beating around the bush, and that's not cool. This is another deflection. Like, I'm about to go because this is too much. This is too much. We talked about the tone policing. We said 30 million times. Dalia, you don't like men. It's fine. It's cool. I just like it's fine. And I know a lot of people say that they don't like men, and especially right now. And that's totally appropriate because we're having a huge issue with the way that black men especially talk to women and deal with them. But let's really stop gaslighting and beating around the bush. Please. Let's all be honest. Let's be honest. Can we? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Or are we not ready? Right. You, like, Dalia, you've made the same comment 20 times about tone policing, and I've addressed you 20 times. No one should be tone policing. We had a whole conversation about how tone policing is wrong, how mansplaining is wrong, how J. Cole should not have tone policed her. That was wrong. I said it 30 times. No Name is also an elitist. So are we, like, and now she's gaslighting and using really disgusting, emotional, abusive tactics, which triggered me because I've been in abusive relationships. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, and I wish people would just come out right out and say it. They don't like men. And I think it's perfectly valid that people are afraid of men, that they don't like men, that they have issues with men because of patriarchy. But admit it. Don't act like No Name did nothing wrong. We can talk about it. It's fine. That's why I said I feel like we're talking about two separate issues. People want to have the conversation about black men and black women. Yes, let's have the conversation about black men and black women. Absolutely. That doesn't mean that we're getting people off the hook for being elitists. That we're letting people get off the hook for being respectability politics. That we're letting people get off the hook for their performative protest. That we're letting people get off the hook for the way that they talk down for fucking black people, but now they're trying to like put on like they some type of motherfucking hero for niggas. Like, y'all really trying to give her a pass. And the reason why you're trying to give her a pass is because you have an issue with men. And that's fine. But can we admit it? Can we admit it? Can we admit it? She's right and he's wrong because you guys are tired of men, which is fine because men fucking suck. And patriarchy is trash. And there are so many issues with fucking domestic violence. But Angela Davis said 20 years ago that we have to figure out the way to talk about gendered violence amongst black people without resorting to white supremacist tactics also. And I see a lot of people doing that right now. They're bending over backwards to not engage with the way that this girl has really talked down on people. Like, I don't understand. Capitalism is also frightening. Capitalism is also fucking frightening. Respectability politics is also frightening. All of these things are fucking frightening. All of these things are fucking frightening. Right. Has this turned into an episode of Ayana Fix My Life? I'm about to cry right now as a survivor of physical domestic violence. Let's also say that people do not understand how fucking triggering these tactics are for people that have been in abusive fucking relationships. All this shit that y'all do and say on fucking social media and shit. Let me throw that out there as well. Y'all are really crushing the shit out of other black people in your fucking, I don't even know what you think this shit is. You think it's revolutionary work, but it's not. You're using horrible white supremacist gaslighting tactics against other black people. You refuse to engage in all of the issues. And it's my mind is blown right now. I'm actually supposed to be somewhere picking somebody up and I'm fucking late because I started tripping because I got triggered real quick. No Name was wrong, period. She should have had a conversation with the artist that she had an issue with behind the scenes. Like, and would we be like, it's too much, you guys. This is too much. This is a lot. Gaslighting is abusive as fuck, and most people are not able to come back from that type of manipulation. And you guys have to understand that's gaslighting. When you do something and somebody responds to you, and you put the onus of the responsibility on the other person that responded to what you did, like they're wrong, that is gaslighting 101. No Name put the tweet out there. She started it. J. Cole responded. Now we're having this dialogue. J. Cole should not have tone policed her. He was 100% wrong for that. No Name is also an elitist that clearly looks down on other black people and has for months. There's a whole other video on it from 6 months ago. Both of these things are true. Stop gaslighting people. Thank you for everyone that did super chat. Think about attention economy. Everybody have a good day. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. I will be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She subtweeted him and he fucking addressed her directly. And I know you children born and raised on fucking Twitter feel like subtweeting on Twitter is better than directly talking to people because you're fucking emotionally stunted. So actually, enjoy your block. Bye. Boop.